If you've thought deeply about graduating corporate and becoming a founder, I'm about to talk you out of it. Because unless you're wired a certain way, this is not for you. 99% of people should stay in corporate. That means keeping the title, keeping the 8 a.m. daily stand ups, which is part of it, and maintaining that very good life. Good for your family, your finances. It's good. Maybe you want good. Other people want more than good. I know I did, but my job is to be very honest with you on what it takes to go beyond good and get to a state of becoming a founder. It's a completely different ballgame. This video, I promise you, will talk most people out of it because I'm going to be very truthful on what it takes. Now, by the end of this episode, you're going to understand, number one, what becoming a founder actually takes. Number two, why most people should not pursue it. And number three, the one test that'll tell if you're in that 1% exception about someone that should actually move out of corporate into becoming a founder. Now, if we haven't met before, I'm Matt Doan, founder of Corporate Graduation. It's an entire system for directors, VPs, and executives to move from zero entrepreneurial experience to being the founder of their own business out there in the world and navigating all the twists and turns along the way. Now, this whole video is going to be a bit of a mirror, and I'm going to give you another mirror. Check out diagnostic.corporategraduation.com after this video, or click the link in the show notes. You're going to go through a very simple few-minute exercise. In this diagnostic, we've thought through all the questions to ask. You understand where you are in the corporate graduation journey. You'll get a custom report, and you'll see a roadmap for all the gaps and sequenced steps you're going to have to go through based on the context that you give us. So check that out in the show notes and really get a personalized view of where you are. Now, maybe you're like everyone I talk to and they all want the general outcome of corporate graduation. Honestly, the fantasy version, where they say you want your name on the door, a calendar that's completely yours, a category you own, and an upside with no ceiling. Now, not to say that's impossible, but it takes a lot of work. Everyone wants this outcome. Truth is, you've got to be willing to go through the dip. Now, you're on this path right now, the corporate path, and you want to end up on the founder path. But we're going to have to go through this journey, and it's going to be very painful in navigating this. You're going to have to learn to be a beginner again. You're going to have to learn what it means to go unknown, reset your identity, step back from the paycheck IV that's been plugged into your arm for decades at this point, and understand what investment and loss actually means. And if you check the video around here right now, there's a link to the investment and loss video on everything you're going to have to navigate in the dip. But this is exactly what you're going to have to go through. It's going to be more painful, longer, and more tiring than you'd ever want it to be. Don't think that you can just bridge right across from corporate over to founder life and it's this nice, clean bridge. Nope, doesn't work that way. There's an entire dip. Most people will never go into that valley. Now, in going through that dip, here's the sorts of things you're going to have to navigate. It's going to be harder and longer than you ever want it to be. You're going to be full of self-doubt. You're going to feel like a beginner again, something you haven't experienced maybe ever because you've always been top of class, top of your cohort, top of the food chain inside of your organization. You're going to get critiqued by mentors that are half your age. You're going to have Slack go quiet. LinkedIn's not going to celebrate your promotions for a while you rebuild in quiet as a founder. The promotions aren't there anymore, so you're going to have to find a new source of accomplishment and growth, something that's outside of your normal chain. And you're going to have to figure out how to deal with your income stalling. It's going to hit a plateau. It might even dip for a while, as it often does. Because if you're going to surge upward and really hockey stick what you're doing, time, money, impact, all of that, there's an investment in loss that takes place. You have to go through the dip, realizing that stepping back is key to launching forward on an entirely new trajectory. And guess what? The people in your life are mostly going to go away because the relationships that got you here won't get you there. There's an entire new network that's going to have to exist. So imagine that this is your old set of corporate relationships, people, colleagues, friends. They're not going to apply in your new life. They're not going to get why you're making this move. They're not like you. They don't think the way you do. You're going to have to unlock and actually accept and adopt an entire new tribe because that network in the past doesn't apply to your future. So let's talk practically about what you're going to have to change in your life. We're going to have to get rid of that 7 a.m. daily stand-up. operating on a status deck for 9:30 every single morning, back-to-back one-on-ones that stack your calendar and it looks like Skittles vomited up everywhere. We can't have a calendar that looks like that anymore. Or that steering committee that used to grip you. That was nonstop corporate thing after thing after thing. We have to break that pattern. You know what your new heart is going to look like? It's going to look like, did you talk to 3 buyers today? Prospects that could say yes to you? Could you write and ship that post, that video that only you can say? Did you build the product? Did you ship it? Did you get hard feedback? This is the new normal, is reprioritizing your energy and your time to do things like this and stop doing the things over here. There's a winding down of the old path, a compression of the old life. If you're working 10 hours a day over in corporate, you get that down to about 4 to 5 hours max, and we redirect our energy over here to do these hard things instead. Let's say you've never had a business before. You've got a brand new product, an offer you want to bring to the world. You've never sold it before. You've only sold things under company logos before. Do you understand what it's like to put yourself out there and actually say, I've got a thing? Might you want it? It's terrifying for most people. I don't care if you've been in sales for 20 years. You haven't sold yourself, your own thing before. Wildly different. Prepare for this to hurt, to slow you down, to have all sorts of emotions. We're going to have to rip out a lot of head trash and start to neutralize fears that are blocking you right now, because they're going to be your greatest roadblocks into the future. Now, I'll be honest with you. What most people want is just a slight upgrade to their life. What we're talking about in moving from corporate to founder is an entirely different life. It's a whole new mode of operating. We're not just looking for a bit more income this month. No, it's an entire new way of orchestrating your days, how you spend your time, what you say yes to, what you say no to, the people you come in contact with, how much control you have over your days. Don't underestimate how much that can freak you out to suddenly have a clear calendar, and then you have to decide what you do to grow your business, especially if your back's against the wall and you're like, well, I've got a family of 6 that I need to support. And at some point I might even have to cover insurance, and oh man, they're entering college soon. This is going to be focusing. This is going to get you really dialed in. Again, this is going to scare off most people. This is not for most people, but understand this is what you're asking for in founder life. Most people aren't wired for this, and that's fine. My job is to be very real with you. Now, maybe I haven't scared you off yet, and becoming a founder or graduating corporate life still feels like the right aim, and you're listening to me still. These are the sorts of signals to look for that it might be right for you. You've been very good at starting to decline meetings and start to operate in your own space, knowing, yeah, it's not worth my time. I'm not doing this stuff anymore. I've outgrown it, okay? You're restless knowing that the compensation you're being offered in corporate life right now is a tiny fraction of the value you can create there out in this world. And you can't tolerate that feeling because you're meant to do so much more, but you're boxed in. And you're reading founder threads, you're listening to the Founders podcast, you're obviously listening to the corporate graduation guy right now, and you start to feel like a stranger everywhere you go. You go to a dinner party and they go, who are you? And someone says, well, I'm the executive vice president of software sales of our division. And then they ask that to you and you're like, I don't know, but I'm going to become someone important, is the feeling inside. You're like, I don't want to introduce myself at that old SVP title anymore. There's something else coming to life. And you have this feeling that you can't shake. You need to move into this state, even when it's scary, even when it's ambiguous at this stage. I remember going to company offsites my last couple of years in corporate, and it felt surreal. Like I wasn't among them, because at that point I'd been hanging out with founders, going to masterminds, becoming parts of coaching programs. I had developed an entire new tribe while I was still earning a paycheck. So every time, especially we got together in person, it felt like an out-of-body experience. And you start to feel this way that you disassociate. Even while collecting the paycheck, you're like, I'm not one of these people anymore. And it's pretty obvious that you're going to have to find your path. You're going to have to graduate. So here's the real test. If your stomach dropped when I went through all the things you're going to have to go through, like navigating the dip, you're probably best off staying where you are. But if you feel alive and activated and something lit up inside of you when I described the challenges and what you're going to have to do, you're one of the rare ones that I would advise continue looking at corporate graduation and doing what it takes to become a founder. If the cautions I'm putting out there still light you up and you know you need to go on this path, You know it's right for you if you felt this way for years, or you know you're not broken or ungrateful, you're just meant to graduate, and you know that you're kind of the rare one out there, and you feel like you're not part of the old crowd, and you need to move beyond it. You need to graduate, to elevate, to see what you're really capable of. Because there's an alternate version of you in the universe that's waiting to appear. You just got to give yourself permission for them to come into the light. That's what's ahead of you. If I were to tell you the metric I used since leaving corporate life to gauge whether I was on the right path, it's this idea of aliveness. If you can feel more activated, even while working harder than ever, and you feel alive, like you're your best self, and the sun is shining each day, even in the hard times, and you love the challenge, and you know you want this feeling of focus, you want this feeling of having to succeed because it was way too comfortable, way too easy in the old life, okay, then we're having the right conversation. To feel alive, to feel activated, to actually reach for and sense what your potential is and grow at crazy levels, Founder Path might be for you. You might be one of the rare few ones. But again, it's really hard. Arguably the hardest thing any of us can voluntarily do. But the question is, can you afford not to do it? So maybe you're opting in. You're staying in the seat knowing, I want to learn more. I want to push myself. Know that you won't do this alone. In corporate life, they rewarded individual performance. All the way from school to your MBA to different rungs of the corporate ladder. It was about you crushing it. I don't know anyone on this path, from Steve Jobs on down to the people that are succeeding in solopreneur businesses. No one does this alone. You will not YouTube or GPT your way to success. You will not muscle it alone, at least anytime soon. Everyone steps into a new tribe. They move with that unit. They let go of the old relationships that were assigned to them, and they choose a tribe that's going to elevate them and challenge them to new heights. So that's exactly what we're going to show in the next video, is a breakdown of what your new tribe looks like. What are the relationships, ideas, and energy that you need to surround yourself with if you're going to make this move from corporate to founder. So check out the link here or in the show notes, and I'll check you over there.